welcome to the Wonder Emporium Coaching Channel. I am your host, Jordan Bridger. Thank you for jumping on and watching these videos, and if you're interested in the content, obviously hit the like and subscribe and the bell notification so you can get all that good stuff when it shows up. So, a little bit about the channel and myself, and then we're going to talk about self-concept. It's a big, huge idea within the world of Neville Goddard and the world of manifestation. And we're going to talk about that. But a little bit about me first. So who am I? Jordan Bridger. Like I said, I'm the host of this channel. I am the lead coach for Wonder Emporium Coaching. I'm also a behavioral scientist. I am also a social psychologist. So it's important that you know what behavioral science is, because this is what sets my coaching apart from other people's coaching. And so behavioral science is where we get the idea of nudges or nudging. So when you walk into a grocery store and you see this huge sign and it has an arrow and it says go here, that's you being nudged. A crosswalk, that's a nudge. You putting your shoes out before you end up going to run to remind you, hey, I need to do this, is a nudge. Right? So all of those are nudges. Now, we are God in the flesh, okay? But what that means is that we also have behaviors. We do things as humans. So that's why I think behavioral science is extremely important and makes and sets apart my coaching business from others, is that not only do we talk about the mental, but we also talk about the physical, because they're in relationship to one another. One is not the enemy of the other. If anything, Neville was trying to encourage and inspire and empower us to be gods who are in love with the human experience, not hating it, right? So, second thing second. Okay, the other thing that we do is we focus on neuroscience. Why? Because we are neurochemical beings. We have things like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin and norepinephrine and all these other awesome long words that we're going to go through as we navigate Neville's work to help you understand yourself. Again, not only as God, but as a human being, and as God understanding and experiencing what it means to be human firsthand. So, that's a little bit about me. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. Also, let's jump in and let's explore the self-concept. So we're going to talk about that and how it influences and impacts our manifestations, right? So even if you're not a follower of Neville Goddard, you don't have to be, right? He even says, don't heroize him. Don't turn him into a hero, okay? But why? Let's explore that. Why does he say that? Because in the end, then he becomes your second cause. He becomes the thing that you need. He becomes the God or the idol that you think that you need. Now, as a fan, I am also very well aware that there's a temptation to turn him into a hero. But at the same time, what he's trying to do is turn ourselves into a hero. Okay? And that's very, very important as we explore this concept, or this idea known as self-concept. And so what it is you have to fully accept the idea that you are God. But how do you do that? Because it's so out there. Well, first and foremost, with the self-concept, you have to also realize that you're going to have certain ideas about the name God. You're still going to also have ideas about the thing that he refers to most, which is God as the imagination, or God as Jesus Christ, or God as the Holy Spirit, God as source, whatever nickname you want to use. These are all just nicknames, but each name comes with baggage. In the field of linguistic psychology, there is this idea that language influences and impacts the way in which we perceive something. For example, if you walk into a room and you hear that it's a funeral hall, you're probably not going to do or see or hear stand-up, right? I mean, it'd be kind of cool if you did, but that's really just the proof that our environment influences the language that we use, but also the language influences how we experience the environment. So, how you define God, to me, is the first most important thing before you even get to self-concept, because the self that is part of that self-concept is this thing called imagination, right? So how you define that is going to be your first protocol. So for example, if you are trying to define God or Jesus or imagination, and you think the imagination shouldn't be taken seriously, or that God is just some old white bearded dude up in heaven, that's going to impact the self part of the self concept, right? because the self that we're talking about is the imagination within. So again, I would work on a very strong definition of how you define this thing, this being, because Neville refers to it as a person, right? And so I would start there. Second, you have to understand the psychology of human identity, because when we use the word self-concept, there are actually three things happening all the time. Doesn't matter what your self-concept is, whether you're in a poor self-concept and you want to move from poor to rich. You are always accessing three different things, and it's under an umbrella term. Don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you. So, but this is also why I see a lot of people failing, especially like on groups like Reddit, right? And they're always talking about why do I have a high self-concept and yet I still can't manifest? Guarantee you this might actually help you. So, three components under the umbrella term called a schema. What the heck is a schema? Right? It has nothing to do with skiing, but the schema is another word for a map. So there's a dude named John Piaget, right? Not around anymore, but he was known as a developmental psychologist, and he argued that by the ages of 5 to 8, every human on this earth, past, present, and future, will have a map, a schema of the world, okay? That means by this time, you will have a way of navigating the world, right? Now, part of that navigating is you've invented a person or a persona, right? And you think that's who you are. But you've developed it based on some faulty thinking, either taught by your parents, taught by your culture, taught by your religion, taught by many, many different things around you, because we're environmental beings. So that's the schema, but that schema breaks down, okay? So the schema breaks down into beliefs, emotions, and memories. Why do you think Neville's work is focused so much on revision, which is revising a memory or creating new memories, and then also being fueled by emotion? But then those emotions are also capped by beliefs. But beliefs, hear me here, I'm not saying belief, I'm saying beliefs. One belief is not composed of one belief. One belief is usually composed of many other beliefs. It's like a spider web, right? It keeps going and going and going. So I need you to understand this. Now, a lot of people might hear this and they say, well, that's just too complicated. Well, but this is actually explaining to you why people fail, why they think that they'll have a very high self-concept. But then what'll happen is what they've done is they've dealt with one belief, which was attached to an emotion, which was attached to one memory, right? But we are a multifaceted being. There isn't one human and God over here. We're human and God fused, right? So in understanding that, you need to accept the fact that every belief is composed of other beliefs. But not just that, it's that the belief itself, even if there's one single belief, is composed of three things, which makes up your schema, your map of how you think things happen, or how things should go, or how the world really is, or fill in the blank. So what we're looking at is self-concept. This is how you build a self-concept. So is you take a belief, where you're currently at, and know you're not manifesting shit if you end up deconstructing your own belief. You're actually doing the work of healing, which means it'll just manifest more opportunities for you to heal more areas, which is what you want to do, right? Neville says, when he talks about the dweller within, that I'm going to spend my whole life, right, loving the heck out of this dweller within, which was really just a metaphor for like this collection of limited beliefs, right? So what you want to do is you want to take a belief, understand that that belief is guided by an emotion, but also reinforced by a memory, right? A memory is also reinforced by neurochemicals. Hence why this is why we do coaching the way we do here, because this is a knock-on effect. There's always a residual effect, right? One is affecting the other. The belief is affecting the emotion is affecting the memory. So revision, you already know revision's there. Revise. I'm going to do more videos on this, but revise. Okay. That means change it, alter it. Okay. Now also, then you need to work on the emotion. Okay. One quick tip on that is just cut out some time in your day. And this is also from Joseph Murphy as well, is that you want to use affirmations. Okay. Yes, affirmations do work. There's actually neuroscience research that shows that actually the brain cannot tell the difference when you use them, if you truly believe them from the first person perspective, and you actually cannot tell between what you're saying and whether what you're saying and what you're experiencing is reality or not, right? Sorry about that. So keep in mind, affirmations 10 times twice a day. One time sometime in the morning, and then one time at night. Some people disagree that Neville ever encouraged this. That's what the lullaby method is ultimately, right? And again, neuroscience shows that affirmations do work 100% without a doubt. Now, so you want to use that as a technique, but then you want to move and work towards this being natural. Now, Neville uses natural in 3 different ways. I'm not going to go through all of them today, but one is the saturation of your subconscious. That means you've got to drench it, and this is his word. You've got to drench your subconscious. That means choose 3 to 5 emotions, right? Look up synonyms. Use a thesaurus, okay? You choose one emotion, look up the thesaurus, and they'll give you different versions of that same emotion. Drench that into your subconscious, okay? Every day, day in and day out, okay? Because this is changing the architecture of your brain, all right? And then what you do is you just keep going until you look at that person who didn't have what you wanted like some foreign stranger. And that's what you do, okay? But again, the way to build a strong self-concept is to work on building beliefs, but also deconstructing the ones that you don't want to have anymore. Okay, so you're deconstructing the old beliefs, deconstructing the old emotion, deconstructing the old memory. But then how are you doing it? Well, you're doing the same thing. You're reconstructing or building a new emotion, a new belief, right? And that's what the affirmations are for. And then a new memory that reinforces everything. That's what revision is for. Okay, so again, Neville created a very novel system, right, with understanding what a self-concept is, because it's just a collection of beliefs and perceptions and values and even behaviors that you accept as you. So what we're trying to do is use neuroscience and his work together to help you decode and also provide you practical tips on how to actually build a strong self-concept that won't keep bouncing in and out, right? But again, the key here also is saturated until it's natural. That could take anywhere from 10 seconds to 10 years. No, I'm not saying it has to take that long for you, but I'm trying to give you a realistic understanding of what's happening. We're going to talk about Abdullah. We're going to explore all kinds of stuff about how to not only build the self-concept, but to live in the self-concept, because you deserve that. So thank you for listening. Leave your comments and questions below. We do offer coaching. We have coaching packages. We have hourly coaching. We actually have a pretty cool thing where we offer 30 minutes of chat/text coaching on like Discord and WhatsApp. So get in touch. DM me on social. I'm on Reddit. I write there weekly. I'm on LinkedIn if you want to check anything about my own credentials and so on and so forth. So much love to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And I cannot wait to hear more from you guys. And there's more coming soon. And just keep in mind that you do deserve your desire.